Israel just struck a top-secret nuclear site in Iran that is much more consequential than most people realize. We'll get into all of that, as well as how Iran is starting a new terror campaign against Israelis traveling around the world. It's the 10th day of the war with Iran, and we're here on the Mount of Blessing with a first-hand report of what is actually going on. I'm Justin Hilton, and this is the Israel Guys. We're going to get into Israel's strikes on Iran's nuclear facility, and then we'll talk about Iran's new terror program against Israelis abroad. But first, if you're a Christian looking for a meaningful Haggadah for your very own Passover Seder this year, we have something I think you'll really enjoy. Go to the IsraelGuys.store or click the link below. These last few days, the missiles have been majorly slowing down. We haven't had to run to the shelter near as much as the first couple days of the war. I hope that's a sign that Iran's running out of missiles, or maybe it's a sign that Israel and the US have hit all their launching sites so hard that it's getting very difficult to fire any more missiles. It's probably a mix of both of those, if you ask me. Unfortunately, it looks like just a few hours ago, there was a direct hit from a missile in central Israel. As of recording time, it was reported that 2 people were killed and multiple people injured. So last week, an IDF spokesperson revealed in a press conference that the Air Force had destroyed a secret Iranian nuclear weapons development site called Nim Zadai on the northeast outskirts of Tehran. Israeli intelligence had apparently tracked Iranian nuclear scientists trying to travel there secretly. This is where they were developing certain weapons components for making a nuclear bomb. Most of the nuclear weapons developing sites were destroyed during the 12-day war last June. However, the fear was that at this site that they just bombed, they would start the process of developing weapons again. According to the Jerusalem Post, Israeli sources told them that the facility was a critical aspect of Iranian efforts to reestablish their nuclear weapons program, which is crucial for any future effort to make a bomb. And this brings us to a broader issue. Last year, it was first reported that the US had completely destroyed Iran's nuclear facilities and capabilities. A while later, however, Israeli intelligence started reporting that Iran had actually moved a stockpile of uranium out of the way just before the US and Israeli strikes. And now there is a very real threat of Iran producing a nuclear weapon, and Israel is doing absolutely everything in their power to make sure that that threat never becomes a reality. And this is just common sense. Think about it. If you had a neighbor who over and over again threatened to kill you and also was actively building homemade bombs in their basement to kill you and your family, what would you do? Of course, you're not going to wait for them to actually attack you. You would take action. And that is exactly what Israel is doing. The Iranian threats have reached the point where they can no longer be ignored. Iran had built so many kinetic missiles that they were nearly untouchable. And through that shield of untouchability, Iran had planned on building nuclear weapons. All the evidence points to that. They were enriching uranium far beyond any civilian use, such as power generation or medical procedures. This last week, Iran has also started using cluster bombs as part of their tactics of spreading terror inside of Israel. We actually saw them in action flying right over our heads. It looks absolutely insane. Here's a video that one of our team members took from the other night. After Israel has taken out 3 ayatollahs at this point in Iran, it seemed like Iran was finally getting smart, and they said they weren't going to announce who their next supreme leader was. But then this morning I saw that it was officially announced that Ali Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khomeini is the new ayatollah, the new supreme dictator of Iran. Guys, let me know in the comments how long you think he'll last. That is, if he's still alive by the time you're watching this video. There's reports that he's even worse than his father, which I'm not even sure how that's possible. I also heard that he burnt his father's will, so we'll see where that goes. What's also interesting is that his father apparently did not appoint him to be the next ayatollah. Maybe he didn't think he was fit to run the regime, or maybe he just didn't want him to get taken out by Israel. Don't worry, guys, though. I'm sure Israel will do everything in their power to reunite the families soon. An Israeli official just put out a warning that Iran is launching a campaign of widespread terror targeting specifically Israelis traveling abroad. He said that Iran had started an, quote, unprecedented removal of restraints regarding terror plots abroad, shifting from cautious proxy warfare to direct, dirty, and unfiltered attempts to harm Israelis globally. He said, quote, we are seeing an Iranian removal of restraints that is almost unprecedented. No proxies, no filters. Where they can act, they act. Whether with brazen determination or in a dirty manner, it is a fundamental change in approach because they feel they have nothing to lose right now, given what they have absorbed. And a case in point of this exact warning happened on Saturday at an anti-Muslim rally in New York City when a Muslim immigrant pulled out a homemade explosive device and threw it into the area of the protest. Thank God that it did not go off and everyone was fine, but this is a perfect example of what could happen with Iran's new strategy. Due to this increasing threat from Iran, Israel's National Security Council raised travel warnings for several countries bordering or in close proximity to Iran, including Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia. The UAE is apparently already on the list of travel warnings. The official also said that Iran is recruiting, quote, anyone available, including criminal syndicates, mercenaries, Afghans, and Azeris to carry out attacks, quote, anyone who is available and ready to work. He also warned of lone wolf attacks and advised Israelis to avoid large gatherings at Chabad houses and kosher restaurants in sensitive areas, and to avoid displaying outward signs of Israeli or Jewish identity. Guys, I'm giving you this news not to spread fear, but so that we can recognize the state of the world we live in today. The world outside of Israel is becoming no longer safe for the Jewish people, and it is time for all the Jewish people to come home just like the prophets said they would. If you're a Jewish person watching this video, I would encourage you, come home. This is your land, and there's no better time than right now when your country needs you the most to come home. Unfortunately, the first military casualties of the war here in Israel were announced today. Amit Siegel reported that 2 soldiers from the Givati Brigade were killed by a Hezbollah anti-tank missile in southern Lebanon. Pray for their families' comfort. And guys, remember, God is in control, and literal miracles are happening here in Israel on a daily basis. We're here on the Mount of Blessing, giving you guys updates as they happen, so make sure and get subscribed. Also, go give us a follow on X. We're getting really close to 30,000 followers. Also, if you want a really cool Haggadah for your Passover Seder this year, you can get your own at theisraelguys.store or click the link in the description below. As always, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.